If COVID events are 6 years in the past, why did I ditch the 10-year plan? Because the 10-year plan was based on things 7 years ago now that were bad, and now things are good. The 10-year plan was very simple, okay? Things were going very poorly for me, okay? Things were on a downward turn for my work. I was making less money. People were fucking with me all the time, and basically I was in financial ruin. I needed to make a turnaround, and the 10-year plan that was discussed was, in a 10-year span, I was going to phase myself out of being an online content creator, get an IRL job, and start to go into an IRL career. And by the end of 10 years, I just done with streaming, and I'm doing stuff offline for the rest of my life. That's what the 10-year plan was, because at that point in my life, so much was being controlled by nonsense on the internet, right? My income, my livelihood, whether I could even afford to do basic shit, it's fucked up, right? But things turned around. Things are much better now. I'm in control of my destiny. I have a great job that's doing really well, right? I'm doing well for myself for many years now. I'm on an upward trend. Why on earth would you say, I need to phase out of something that's doing much better now and I'm in a better position in my life? In fact, what's happened is since COVID, the whole thing flipped on its head, because it used to be, oh, well, if I get an IRL job, right, that's going to be more consistent. That's going to be more dependable, career and everything. But it's the opposite now. Now in the United States, the job market out there is so bad, even though you don't hear about it reported this way, but the job market out there is so bad, most people don't have a full-time job. What they have is 2 or 3 part-time jobs, because they won't even get a full-time job anymore. No one will hire them for one. That way they don't get health care. They don't get benefits. They get nothing. They just have to go from job to job, bouncing around, trying to keep a fucking living, trying to make ends meet for their families. The era of career jobs where you start at the bottom, you work hard, then you get a mid-level position, then you get like a manager's position, then you get like a supervisor position, and then you can do, that doesn't exist anymore. Now it's, you are at the bottom your whole life. You're a fucking ant that gets stepped on, misused. You don't get the hours you want. You don't get the health care you need. You get nothing. And that's the American employment system in 2026. So essentially, and by the way, not true, okay, ban you. Not true, fuck you. Since you think you know better, go out there and get a fucking job, because you don't have one. That's why you're sitting on my stream right now, midday. You don't have a fucking job, so you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, okay? So anyway, as I was saying, that's the American life now. If I had quit being a streamer and went out there and got a job, likely already I would have had to jump 2 to 3 jobs. Even if I was good at what I was doing, I probably would not have retained a job. I would have had to jump 2 to 3 jobs. I barely would be making ends meet. I'd probably be working 2 or 3 separate jobs right now. It would be a nightmare. So thank God I didn't do a knee-jerk reaction and immediately say, I'm phasing out and quitting streaming and I'm going to start doing IRL stuff. It actually would have actually ruined me. I really feel that, because the truth is, all the prices have skyrocketed and gone up. Literally everything that we spend money on is now more expensive, but I would have been out there struggling to juggle IRL jobs to make ends meet and do the bare minimum. Luckily with me, I stuck with it. I worked hard. I did some interesting things in the last couple of years. I think we can all agree that got me some more prominence, that got me some more attention on the internet, and it certainly got me a hell of a lot more attention in regards to people who like my content, support it, and it got me upgraded to the point where now I'm actually modernized and people are coming and supporting in droves, which is amazing, right? And because of that now, I'm doing so much better. I'm way better off. Thank God. Because, it would have been the opposite. Again, I think that would have been the worst decision if I'd given up on all of this and said, I throw in the towel, I'm never going to get better. Nothing's going to turn around for me. I'm going to stop trying. I give up. And instead, I'm just going to go out there and try to get some jobs. And I think it would have completely destroyed me. I probably would have had to give up this house. Just being honest, I probably would have had to give up this house entirely and move into a smaller place, which, by the way, probably wouldn't have been much less expensive, because, again, the prices have skyrocketed. The mortgage I pay on this house is about the same that you would pay for a tiny apartment in this area where I live. I'm not exaggerating. So I want you to think about that. I would have had to sell the house, okay, to move into an apartment that's smaller, but pay the same. Pretty messed up, right? No, this job is not exposed to downturns in the economy like an IRL job. It actually isn't, because I've had ups and downs, and literally no matter what happens out there, people come watch and support. It's been a constant. It's been actually the one constant, is that it doesn't matter if I'm on YouTube, Twitch, or Kick. It doesn't matter if I'm doing an on-demand video, if I'm streaming, if I'm doing a combination of both. People have been along for the ride and will be. Okay? It's that simple. It's never changing. It's kind of the constant. Anything else that I've ever done in my life has been fluctuating and changing. This hasn't. This has remained stable. And I think what it is, it's just you get to a certain level. When you get to a certain level of whether it's you've just been doing it for so long, so everyone knows you as a staple that's going to be around, and they'll check you out from time to time, or it's because a lot of people have been around for me for this ride that I've been on, and they feel like it's part of a journey that they're on too, and so it's worked, 100%. Someone tipped $5 and said, did you have any plans for your channel years ago that changed because of your detractors? Well, the truth is I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure. I'd have to think hard about that, though, to try to remember. To try to remember specifically if there's anything that had to be, like, just completely thrown off and canceled. I'll give a few examples, okay? So, example number one, and this one was just so long ago, right? When I first was going to use Patreon, which at the time, everyone was jumping on using Patreon. So this was like 11 years ago. I think it was like 2015 when I started using Patreon, right? One of the things that was examined and was being considered was doing private content for my biggest supporters. So maybe if you're someone who joins at the highest level of Patreon or you're contributing a certain amount a month, then you have exclusive access to an early video or an early stream. And right out of the gates, before we even had like thought about the idea and figured out exactly what it would be, my detractor said, well, we're going to immediately have one person pay for it. So let's say it was a $20 a month contribution to get in on this exclusive club, right? We're just going to have one person pay $20. They're going to go in, they're going to rip that content, and they're going to put it right out on the internet. If you do a private stream, we're going to give that link, and we're just going to publicly post it all over the internet. You will never be able to use Patreon for anything private whatsoever because we don't like you. So immediately there was something that I was never able to do, right? Because of the detractors. I guess there is another one. The only other one that really comes to mind is the whole sponsorship deal thing. I can never get a real sponsor, ever. Like, even if there's someone who we like your content, you could use the product, and it's something that we think would sell with your viewers, I could never get a sponsor. Because the moment that anyone says we're going to give something for free, we're going to give you an advanced copy for a review, we're going to give you a product to plug, and then you get a code or whatever, my detractors go and harass that company. And that company, whether or not they care, because most of the time, the company doesn't give two shits about me or anything that I've done. It's just that they bow down and bend over for people on social media these days. A lot of these companies are like beholden to the internet, right? And so if you're going to get a hate mob coming at you because you have association with Darkside Phil, you're just going to cut the association with Darkside Phil. And it's happened with chair companies. It's happened with video games. And it happened on Twitch. I couldn't believe the way that Twitch behaved. Okay, seriously. The way that Twitch behaved was disgusting because they outright lied to me, which is insanely dishonest. So with Twitch, they started a program where it was a sponsored program where they would have a dashboard. And if you were a partner on Twitch, you would see offers. Play this game for a certain amount of time on stream and receive a sponsorship fee for it. Okay? So the first one I tried to do was World of Tanks. I signed up for it. I told you guys I was going to do it. My detractors went and contacted the World of Tanks devs and harassed them. And they went to Twitch and told Twitch, we don't want Phil to do that because we're going to get a bunch of hate on social media for it. So Twitch turned it off, even though I signed up for it. When I was going to do it, Twitch contacted me and said, oh, that doesn't exist anymore. I said, what do you mean? Oh, that's an error. It doesn't exist anymore. Okay. Then I reached out to my mods and I said, so you guys are in the partner program. Do you still have the World of Tanks sponsorship? Yeah, we have it. So they lied. They didn't actually, it wasn't that it wasn't available. It's that they were taking it away from me because they didn't want my trolls to harass people on social media, which is something I don't control. Obviously not my fault, but I get punished for it. Okay. Then there was another small game. I don't even remember the name of it anymore, but it was an indie game. I took the sponsorship opportunity. I was playing their game on stream, and as I'm playing it, the detractors went to their Discord, harassed them. They reached out to Twitch, and Twitch basically said, well, it's too late. Phil's already playing the game. There's nothing we can do. Hands are legally tied. There was a contract you signed. There was never any criteria saying only certain people could do this sponsorship, so he's got to get paid. So I did get paid for that one, okay? And then there was another one, and this was the last one I ever got, was for Assassin's Creed. Now, I don't remember particularly which Assassin's Creed game it was. It was many years ago. Again, this was when I was on Twitch, right? And I, just like everybody else, I was already playing the game. Like, I'd already been playing this particular Assassin's Creed game. And then the opportunity showed up in the dashboard, and I took it, and I streamed the game. As I'm streaming the game, once again, my detractors go to the Ubisoft social media. They start harassing them and shit. And so they went to Twitch, and basically, here's what happened. Again, they were legally forced to pay me for the sponsorship because I didn't do anything wrong, and it was the terms of the agreement. But basically what Twitch said was, well, It's obvious DSP is always going to get this harassment no matter what he does. So we're just going to turn off his dashboard. So they actually had someone, listen to this, they had someone in the company come to my dashboard and hard code it out, meaning my opportunities were always off. They actually had someone do that because they realized I was going to keep taking the opportunities and making the money, and then my detractors were going to keep harassing people on social media for it, and they didn't want to get flack for it. So they actually had a coder code my dashboard off. So my dashboard was always empty. And I would contact at that time my partner manager from like once a month, and I would say, my dashboard is still empty. I don't understand. And he would say, oh, it has nothing to do with you. You never did anything wrong. It's just that we don't have anything for you right now. There's no opportunities for anyone. And of course, then I would go again to my moderators who were partnered in the program and say, do you guys have opportunities? They'd be like, oh yeah, there's this one. There's this one. I don't have any of them. And it was gone forever. Like literally, it never showed up ever again for me. The dashboard was always empty. And then they got rid of my partner manager. So then I had no one to even talk to about anything. So yeah, this is just, again, that's probably what I would say. A few of the things over the years that 100% are affected by my detractors. You know what I mean? And it sucks when it happens. Again, it's always something that's not my control. I can't make a bunch of no-life losers not harass people on like Twitter, right? Like, how do I stop that? I can't. But that's, you know, that's how the system works. All these companies are such pussies and they're so beholden to the system that the moment that they get any kind of little harassment, it's like, gee, there's 1,000 people who are sending me nasty messages. Why don't I just block them? No, instead it's, well, let's just cut off the association with the guy who literally did nothing because he has a hate mob that follows him around. You're basically, you're punishing the person who's being bullied. So you're also bullying the person who's being bullied. How does that solve the problem or make anything better? It doesn't. All it does, it perpetrates more fucking online bullying, but these companies are cowards and pussies and don't ever smarten or wisen up. They just say, what's the easiest way out of the problem? Just block the guy, right? Lame as shit. So there you go. And that's about it. I would say that's it. That's the limit. Like, I can't really use Patreon, okay, to do much. I can't get any sponsorships or things like that. They'll never work because the online harassment will always persist. I can't stop that from happening. And in the case of, for example, a suggestion yesterday where someone says, hey, can you leave your streams archived? And I'm like, I'll do that for you. That sounds like a good idea. And then I can't because I'm immediately going to get harassed and have problems. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing I can really do about it. So, you know, but what's remarkable, quite frankly, is that here I am in 2026. I am doing better than I've ever done before. And I mean that. I'm doing better today than I did back in the day when I was popular on YouTube and was getting 10 million views a month. I'm serious. I'm doing better right now than I was doing then. Okay? I'm making that abundantly clear. I'm doing it with a fraction of the audience that I used to have. So I want you to think about that. How I've persevered through all this bullshit that these idiots are trying to do. You got Wings sitting there on his stream crying that everything's going bad. You got LTG sitting there crying about being demonetized by Kick and everything. I'm doing good. I'm doing really fucking good. And I'm grateful and happy that I am. It was a lot of hard work to do it. Because again, the track that stuff was going 6-7 years ago was this way. And I have completely managed to pull it this way. And that's a great thing. And now things are much better for me, my family, for the business, for everything. And that's, it goes hand in hand with you guys sticking it out and persevering through the crap and or seeing through the crap. Particularly the last couple of years, a lot of people having new eyes on me and saying, what the fuck? All that stuff people said about Phil was bullshit. He's improved. He's different. It's not what people say anymore, right? This is such nonsense. That's completely false. Catch your ban, you fucking idiot. You guys think that he knows what I make. You don't know what I make. None of you know what I make. Not a single one of you on the internet knows what Darkside Phil makes. You have no fucking clue. At any given moment, we've got a stream going. That stream has ad revenue on it. That stream earns money in the Kick Partner Program. That stream also has super chats, memberships, subs, all coming in. There's tips coming in. You have no fucking clue at any waking moment what kind of money I make. No one. Not anyone but me. I'm the only person that knows what I make. And that's a good thing, because it leaves me in control of my destiny and not a bunch of no-loads on the fucking internet that don't know shit about shit, but they think they know anything. No, I did not make less this year than last year. I'm doing very well for myself right now. It doesn't matter what you want to believe, because reality is different from your very twisted, disgusting fantasy of all the weirdo shit that you talk about every day in your Yellow Bus Discords, okay? An idiot. But people are so dumb. They really just don't understand anything. They're that stupid. There's no metric you can follow to figure out what I make. It doesn't exist. There's no metric that you can look at on any public page that will tell you how much money I make. You're an idiot. You're legitimately stupid. And you believe it because you listen to stupid people who, here's the real truth. The people who don't like me are the worst, most gullible, most stupid people because they follow people who literally lie to them daily, but they believe it because they're gullible and they make these people money. You see, the people who are really the detractors who make the content about me don't care. They don't care if what they say is real or not. They don't care if they made it up or if it's based on truth. All they care about is your view and your contribution. So you feed their animal. You feed their system of lies and misinformation. None of it affects me because I'm doing good, but you believe the nonsense and you reward the liars. And then you think that, oh, we got one up on Phil. You didn't get anything on me. I'm good. I'm still good. I'm always good. You're the one who's miserable. You're the wretch who sits there on the internet watching lies all day and paying money to morons. These people are using you and abusing you. They see your mental illness and they take advantage of it. They're exploiting you. They're literally exploiting you this very minute. And you don't get it because you're so dumb. Twisted Gloomy, I have no idea what you're talking about, but thanks for the money. I'll gladly take your money. I don't berate people who work 9 to 5s. I've been there, I've done that, and I know that it's an awful grind to do. I absolutely hate it, you know, for sure. Here we go. You ready? Ad revenue way down. Wrong. My ad revenue is exactly the same. My ad revenue hasn't changed whatsoever. It's the same. It actually doesn't fluctuate much at all. You always get a boost at the end of the year, and then it dips in January, and then it stays the same the rest of the year. That's a lie. Video on-demand views way down. Wrong. My on-demand views are exactly the same. Every month I get about the same amount of views. There's some peaks and some valleys depending on what I'm doing, but for the most part, they're exactly the same. No change there. Live support way down. Wrong. My live support's doing very, very well, actually, especially since I abolished the goals. I don't talk about goals and shit all the time. It's actually doing better. But you don't know that because you're an idiot and you listen to the wrong people. You get 300 views a video. So that might be the one thing that's correct out of everything you just said because views are public facing, except you're an idiot and you don't understand that I get views on the YouTube stream. I get views on the Kick stream. I get residual views on the Kick stream because that stays live for a week. And then I get the on-demand views on the individual video. So when you see a video and it's like part 1 of a playthrough, 1,000 views. Yes, that one time was 1,000, but there was views on the original stream. There was views on the Kick stream. I'm getting tons of views on all my content. It's just not all in one place. So you look at that and you say, oh, he only got 300 views. Yeah, except I got paid. So what the fuck do I care what the views are on the video? I don't. My ad revenue is remaining around the same. My overall views are remaining around the same. And my live streams are making tons of money. I'm in the Kick Partner program. I got ad revenue. I got everything. I'm good. I'm made. I don't have these problems that these other people have. You know, I'm not worried about, oh no, I have to, I hate to say it, but I really feel bad for a guy like Wings because what he did to his channel screwed him. When he deleted all of his content and he doesn't have any content basically archived there. So he only makes ever what he makes on a stream. He makes nothing else. And I feel bad about that because he should be earning all that back end and he gets nothing, right? He gets nothing. That's the thing that I've always had, this archive where people will go back and watch the old stuff, but then they watch the new stuff. So at any given moment, there's this big machine working for me in my favor. And Wings doesn't have that. He only has the current live streams. That sucks ass for him. Like, I feel for him. That's bullshit, So it really stinks that he doesn't have that. And that's why he's so stressed out on his streams. Like, seriously. That's exactly why. But that's why you have to understand, despite the fact that people categorize me in with these other lolcows, I'm nothing like them. I'm doing much better. And that was purposeful. That was intended. That was by design. And it was a lot of hard work to get to that point, but I'm there. You see? Yeah, I know, Roy. He did a $5 super chat and he says, it's sad what these detractors do. You lost mods, your sponsors. You can't leave archive streams. Yeah. And the thing is, again, they will be like, oh, this is a big W. We won. We did something. What W? I'm just doing exactly what I've been doing and being successful doing all along. Sure, it sucks that I can't do the next cool thing that people wanted. I would have loved to leave the streams archive, but I can't. What can I do? But I'm still good. I just keep doing what I was doing anyway. No problem. No negative change for me, but, right? That's life. Okay. That's so silly because people are saying, then why would you get upset if support is low on a particular stream? Just because support is low on one particular stream does not end me. Okay, it doesn't. But if you're someone who operates a business and you want to be successful, you want to be successful all of the time. Now, it's not possible to be, but you still want that, you know? And there's nothing wrong with wanting success all the time. If anything, this year, I'm in a situation where I'm purposefully setting myself up that I know I won't be successful all the time. I'm trying indie games that may or may not work. I'm trying new things, new genres of games. I'm breaking out and I'm trying Deadlock. My God, can you talk about anything a little bit so different from what I normally would play? Right? I'm doing Lego streams. I'm doing things that are outside the box of the content that I was known for doing for so long. There's going to be streams that don't go well, and that's okay as long as we balance them with streams that do go well. There's nothing wrong with that at all, right? That's fine. But when you run a business, and maybe one day some people who don't get this will get it if you ever get to this level, right? If you have something that's your own, and you're working it from the ground up, and you're busting your butt, you want to have success at every moment you can. You don't want to have a time when you're not successful. That sucks. It feels like you spun your wheels. You didn't get the outcome you desired or you were working toward, and that's very frustrating. It doesn't mean that the world is ending because you had a single day when things didn't go your way, but it sucks. Even someone who's running an insanely successful business, a restaurant, a Fortune 500 company, or a fucking lemonade stand, right? If you have a day when things suck, it still sucks. You still feel it. And particularly when you're a self-employed person, you own that business, it hurts more because that's your baby. Right? It's not like you're a cog in a machine and you're, oh, who cares if the big corporation fails today? It's my business. I want my business to do well every day, and it should. And if it doesn't, it's disappointing, and that's okay, right? But I tell you guys all the time, the sky is not falling. If we have one or two bad streams, it's okay. We just can't have it be a pattern. If we have a game that all of a sudden is not performing anymore, we'll move on to other things that will do well, because that's how you're successful in a business or in life in general. You focus on the things that work, and you give up on the things that don't. You don't just keep working on the thing that doesn't work. As much as I would like to keep playing Call of Duty right now, it ain't going to work. I give up. I'll play the next one and give it a shot. But that's how you can work. And again, maybe that's the problem with a lot of people. They focus on the wrong things. They're focused on raw views, or they focus on this factor or this aspect, this metric. I think I found it. It took me a long time, but I think I found that balance that things are working. And I'm happy for it. Okay? Darth Fig, how you doing? A $5 super chat. He says, I played Undertale for the first time, and then I watched your playthrough of it. It was awesome and funny. Mushroom Dance. That is a unique game. That is an absolutely unique game. Shocked that it actually exists and or got popular, but happy that it did. It stands out among the pack, man. A game, just think about this, a game where you can play it as a pacifist, right? That's crazy. Okay. Any last minute stuff, or shall we play Dragon Quest now, guys? I'm down to play Dragon Quest if you guys are ready.